Okay. Welcome, none and all, to the April 21st, 2025 live stream on this wonderful channel. The video that we're going to look at today, we got a video today that we're going to start with. We're probably just going to do two or three videos today. We're back to we did a video. We took a break from J.Scott Garibay for Easter. We did a little bit of a diversion, touching upon a timely genocide. First in the live chat, welcome to the proceedings. Gold medal on today. To look at a timely post by he of Lamentations of the Flame Princess, the fabulous James Raggy IV. Hey, um, it seemed topical. It may have been a little bit of a diversion. Here we are back with J.Scott Garibay. It's Monday. We have Mario Heat with us, second in the live chat. Mario Heat, welcome. It's Monday. How do I know my pal J.Scott Garibay already uploaded like 10 videos? Yeah. Now, and here's the deal. The title of our video today is The Time Has Come for Reparations for Nerds. J.Scott Garibay in review. We're going to start off with the video that from which our title comes. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's J.Scott Garibay's best, but it is by request. I had actually finished yesterday's, I think it was Friday's stream, and someone commented or mentioned as I was closing, oh, he did a video today, being Friday, where he made this video, one of his videos for Friday, which was this. We're gonna get to it. This clarion call for. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about it. I don't know if it's really one of his bangers. What I really think it is that maybe sometimes he may have just been throwing something out there for controversy's sake. Hey, but we'll talk about it. But then we're going to get to today's videos, because today, look, I've done this. I've done this before. Where I've said, about someone that I've covered on other channels. Hey, Mario grabbing that gold on Twitch. Any critters in the chat? The most important player to ever sit at the righteous hand of the glorious table, the most important, most famous game of D&D. But here's what we're going to do. So J.Scott Garibay is back on the Okaba kick on Monday. But what I sense is, now I've done this before, where I've come speaking about other people on other channels, and I've said, folks, they're talking about me. They're clearly talking about me, and people have said, well, I don't know. I think that we've entered the feedback loop on J.Scott Garibay damn quick. Usually, now, folks, without a doubt, there have been people that I've commented on in my illustrious YouTube commenting career that, without a doubt, a reciprocal feedback loop has been established, where they started talking back. If anyone doubts that that's the case, if you have a Pacer account, you can check the docket and know and understand it's on the permanent record. I was sued, right? You know what I mean? It happens. We've caught people watching me live. It is the case. It seems that we've hit the feedback loop with J.Scott Garibay. I think I surmise kind of quickly. I've noted that I thought that he was aware, and we know that I commented his comment section, and and that he knew who I was. But I definitely think he's definitely reacting, because I think on today, this Monday, April 21st, I think you can see that. I sense that there's been an obvious thing in some of his videos today where you can clearly see he's clearly trying to directly res- in in response to some of the criticisms I may have made in my coverage of his material. He seems to have, in a very kind of obvious way, made certain changes, done certain things differently, and like, kind of very obviously. It's like, if all of a sudden, like, oh my god, do you know what happened? Yeah, no, everyone found, the most popular girl in classes, in schools slam book, where she was talking crap about everybody. It's all over school. She's ruined now. Everybody knows that she's a total bitch. And then all of a sudden the next day she goes around being like, "Hi, Mary Sue. I know I've been mean, and I just want to say I'm sorry." Like, goes around to everyone, like, apologizing, like, it's, like, kinda obvious, like, what's going on. Anyway, I think maybe you'll see what I see. But before we get there, we will talk about the reparations video. The reparations video, no, it's not reparations for slavery, though we will be talking about. Remember, we did talk about maybe the allegation that maybe J.Scott Garibay was a little bit of a insensitive guy himself, to be accusing Professor DM of being a insensitive white guy. Well, we have a video to talk about later about not only him being very praising of Professor DM, it's an actual total spurg out, but we also have him talking about how moved he was about a movie. Oh, we've got some good stuff. But first, from Friday, should jocks pay reparations to D&D nerds? Is he on the level? Is he being serious, or is he just trolling? Orion Akaba Mondays, Orion Akaba Tuesdays, Justice for Akaba Wednesday, Mercer. There you go. Let's do it. But first, before we do anything, do American jocks before the remote? We start with a video entitled "Do American Jocks Owe Payment to Dungeons and Dragons Players?" Fair use, fair. Oh, come on, guys. That happened here. Come on, you son of. You know what I mean? When they really start to interfere you. If I've learned anything from my years of trying to expose on behalf of the, Zionist occupied government, the truth tellers in the secret space program, it's when you're over the target that the real interference starts. Let me share a screen. Okay. Do American jocks owe payment to Dungeons and Dragons players? Fair use, fair use. Fair
Garibay.
use.
Today,
I'm
we're going to ask.
this. Jesus, I'm telling you. We need this. Come on. Do American jocks owe payment to Dungeons and Dragons players? Fair use, fair use, fair use. The purpose of reviewing this video is not to degrade, demean, or diminish the value of J.Scott Garibay or to take views away from him. Rather, is to discuss in the free marketplace of ideas, in the transformative work, commenting. A modest proposal being put forward by Mr. Garibay, the gold standard in Dungeons and Dragons YouTube commentary. If you are going to argue that that's not the case merely because he only has 3,000 or so subscribers, know that that's only because he doesn't sell out like those fucking douchebag, shithead assholes, the dungeon dudes. I'm sorry. Those guys, fucking Lebret at this stage of life, and they're Canadian, first of all, not even real country until they become 51st. I'm sorry, those guys. You know what I mean? He's on to something. Those guys suck. They really do. You know, they're like that angry cat lady, RPG pundit, who I can fact check later if we get to it, if we got time. Anyway, here we go. Do American jocks owe payment to Dungeons and Dragons player? Lay out your case, J.Scott Garibay. Tell us why they should.
Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we're going to ask, are reparations due for the Dungeons and Dragons community from the American sports community?
From the American sports community. Now, let me just throw it out there because, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure if J.Scott Garibay is watching on the level, remember, how do we define our terms? What is the Dungeons & Dragons community? Am I a member of the Dungeons & Dragons community? Primarily a solo player. Have a nasty tendency to mock, demean, and kind of, you know, be a little bit rough on other players. Are OSR, BroSR members of the D&D community, even though they hate the 5e, WotC, pink-haired albino lesbian crew that, you know, I might be more apt to affiliate or hang out with. You know what I mean? Can Kelsey Dion and Venture Satanis learn to, you know, have hot sex on a platter? Metaphorically speaking, trigger warning. Too late. Can Monty Cook do it with the Garbage Pail Kids? In my mind, and that be D&D? Am I still a member of the community? Can you learn to love me? I don't know. And the American sports community, like, you know what I mean? Like we got to define terms, man, you know?
That's the question. So we're going to answer it. All right, here we
go. We're going to answer it. Okay.
The answer is yes, and I'll explain why. Okay.
The answer is yes. Okay. Well, no. Okay. Guess there.
First of all, let's define our terms. Okay.
He read my mind.
So who owes money to who? And then we'll talk about.
Well, no, we got to define our terms first.
How much money? All right. So first of all, the reason why we're talking about this is Stranger Things. I'm currently reading the book, The Dustin Experiment. All right. And it takes place between season 3 and season 4, the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4 of Stranger Things.
I don't like that show. I think it is nostalgia, jag-off material that presents a period of time that never was. An artificial depiction of the 80s made by people that never were there.
And Dustin is building a relationship with Eddie Munson, the heavy metal dungeon master. And Lucas is abandoning his nerd friends. And I hate that term, but I'm going to use the language because it gets us there quickly. I apologize.
I'm offended.
No way around it.
Well, there probably is ways around it. You just refer to them as, you know, the guys who play Dungeons and Dragons with him, but okay.
And so Dustin is abandoning his good, kind, loyal nerd friends to pursue absolutely abominable human beings within the jock community. And the reason why is he doesn't want to get struck physically. He doesn't want to be mocked, and he doesn't want to be excluded from being able to date um, the opposite gender. Because, yeah, I think that's his character. Lucas's character is, is pursuing um, opposite gender partners.
Now, I just want to say something. I've seen like 2 or 3 episodes of Stranger Things. In fact, the first 2 or 3 episodes of Stranger Things before I bailed and was like, "This show fucking sucks." And I was like, so I have no idea what the hell's going on. But what I've learned about J.Scott Garibay is that whatever he tells me about a movie or TV show, I have no faith that that's an actual depiction of an accurate depiction of what's going on, in the show or whatever.
He wants to be able to have a chance to do that, right?
Also, we all know that though I joke about it based on stereotypes, we all know that playing Dungeons and Dragons and or being a nerd or being into geeky things, even back in the day, while stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, there were plenty of people who both played Dungeons and Dragons and played sports and or played Dungeons and Dragons and had sex with members of the same and or opposite sex, right?
And to keep his girlfriend
And avoided being struck physically by people. And also, we know that stereotypes being stereotypes, yes, there were jocks that were douchebags to nerds. And also, there were people that just played sports and didn't act like, people in movies, depicting high school. You know what I mean?
friend Sadie, right? Like, because he realizes, she's not really in on all this nerd stuff, right? And so he wants to be strong and be relevant and be important and not be mocked and lumped in with all his nerd friends as a victim, right? And so it's a very good. The book is fantastic, but it really brought me forward. And I was like, yeah, that really is an accurate portrayal of what's been happening for every single year of the 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons. And the reality,
No, that's a stereotype, right? Without a doubt. I don't know if it's in hey, stereotypes are stereotypes, right? To the majority of people who play Dungeons and Dragons, first of all, today I understand that things apparently have changed. When I played Dungeons and Dragons back in the day, from 1985 through like 89, without a doubt, the majority of people who played Dungeons and Dragons that I was exposed to, without a doubt, were dudes. Were they for the majority, luckless losers with hygienic problems who had lousy luck with ladies because they sucked? Yes. When me and certain people that I hung out with kind of looked around and we kind of gauged the prospects of where things were going, we kind of knew and understood, hey man, we'd probably be better served to get like more into music and this heavy metal culture than continue to go down, these certain older guys that are staying at this table, because where they're going with this, staying really involved with Star Trek and Star Wars and Doctor Who and gaming seems like, a path towards. We still want to go to the comic shop. We still want to go to the hobby shop and game. We still want to buy the books and hang out and be aware of what's going on in the culture. But we also want to, not be like those guys. Now I'm talking generalities and stereotypes. But hey, but also at the same time, we also just get an occasional gaming session in at the same after that case, and because it was called living a balanced life and having a perspective on things, and not being a total Loser.
Reality is the American sports community, specifically football, basketball, and baseball,
That's really not specific.
have been abominable.
They have been abominable. You mean all people that have played those sports? They've all been terrible people? I don't think so. Also, the Venn diagram of those people also include people that play D&D. You got a problem here, dude.
To nerd culture,
Nope.
right? Now, what is nerd culture? First,
What is nerd culture? This is something that you're not going to be able to define. You're going to be able to define it loosely, just like I'm talking off the seat of my pants like a taxi cab philosopher, but you can't actually define it like, what is art? You know what I mean? It's like you can't point to it. This is like ridiculous.
and foremost, Dungeons and Dragons. We
Nope.
are the most persecuted group in all of nerd culture.
That is absolutely 100% not true. You know why? Mimes, right? Jugglers, right? You know what I mean? There's so many people, you know what I mean? Like those guys that like from an early age wanted to be like into dance. You know, there's like so many things that are like, you know, like D&D. Well, come on.
And by the way, this is going to extend to anybody
Mathletes
who has ever played these things in high school or college. Okay, if you started any of these things after college, after high school or college, you're not included. Okay,
you're not included. Forget you. You're not part of the reparations plan. Forget it.
so if you played D&D in high school or college at any age up till
at any age. So if you went to high school and like at the age of 85, you're in.
this right now in 2025,
If you went to college like later on in life, you know what I mean? Like one of those like funky grandmas who are like, she's 92, but she just got her degree in electrostatic engineering. And she plays Dungeons and Dragons. You're in. You get reparations, honey. And we get to party.
Or if you were in band in high
and in band. Any band? Because I was in a band called Sriari Bindu. We rocked. We thought we were like a cross. Our plan was to be like a kind of a cross between John Zorn's Naked City and The Residents. We sucked, but we thought we were good. Is that? Oh, you mean like a high school band? Yeah, I used, you know what I mean? Like I had a dealer who was in the band. The band isn't like, you know, there were other people in band that were like brilliant to the debt. You know what I mean? I don't. Maybe I went to a really great high school. I have no idea what this guy was up.
High school or college, or a band like a marching band, not a rock and roll band. A marching.
No, damn, not a rock and roll band. Well, we were really a rock band. We were more of like an experimental kind of jazz kind of thing. But I guess he's what he's talking about.
Okay, or the drama club in high school, or
the drama club. Where I went to, the drama club were like into it. They were like all goths and weirdos and like the gay cool kids. You know what I mean? I have no idea what he's talking about. They got around.
Or college, then you are nerd culture. You are one of us. Okay. And
one of us.
You are on the persecuted side of this conversation, right?
What about jocks who were in theater? Like that, did you ever see, what was that movie? Oh, Election, right? With the guy who was Matthew Broderick, right? And that girl. And then there was that guy, and you remember he broke his leg, so then he decided he was not on the football team anymore. So he decided to run for class president.
Not the persecutors. Now, if you played in high school or in college, okay, if you played football, baseball, or basketball, you are the problem. You're
the problem. If you like sexually assaulted someone, but you're on the swim team, you're okay. Softball player who killed a guy, you're fine.
Persecutor. And it's almost a certainty at some point. It is a certainty, okay, that you did one of the following. You knock some kid's books out of his hand.
It's a certainty. Search your memory. If you played basketball, football, or baseball, and you can't remember doing one of these things, you have like a suppressed memory or something. Maybe like the UFOs got you or some shit.
You called them names.
Like, you're awesome, or Mr. Fantastic.
You used your hierarchy to persecute someone in nerd culture, or you stood by and did nothing, or you stood by and smiled, or you stood by and laughed while one of your jock friends did. Period.
Are you telling us a story about you? Meanwhile, like, you know what I mean? Like, I had one incident where like things happened because I had an actual fight with the captain of the basketball team once where he punched me. He didn't even knock me out. And then like he got in trouble because people saw him punch me. He punched me. I got up. I was like, "You didn't even knock me out, dude." I was like choked back tears. He was the captain of the football team. He decked me like full on because I told him to chill out and not stop harassing the girl. And then, but then I didn't even turn him in. I even tried to narc on him, but unfortunately, he did it in front of fucking teachers because he was a fucking idiot, right? And then he got in trouble, and I was like, "Oh man!" And I was like, not even trying to give him a hard time. And then he came into fucking that town. Me and this. I'm not gonna tell the story, but like whatever. Then they came looking for us in fucking the town at night. It was so stupid.
All right. Now I'm also gonna say this is not gendered in any way. I think jock men and women did all of this, and nerd men, jock men.
But beyond that one incident, we used to hang out all the time with the fucking football players, or whatever, because everyone used to party and get high and do drugs,
and women did
drink or whatever.
With persecution, and then basically and then nerd men and women received all the persecution. Period. Okay. All right. So since we've now established that at the macro level, at the 51% level, American jocks persecuted American nerds. Okay. Is there reparations now due American nerds? And
because it's been established that American jocks persecuted American nerds, it first of all, brother, has it been established that American jocks bullied American nerds? No. You have not defined the classes accurately because there were nerds who played sports and there were people that played sports that did not engage in heinous behavior that was abusive or bullied people. Also, there were people that bullied nerds who had nothing to do with sports. Also, there were people that were jocks that sometimes would come to the defense of nerds against, shithead loser bullies. Also, there were nerds that sometimes were mean to jocks. I'm having trouble with this math thing. Why can't you do that math? It's a very simple algorithmic expression. Hey, man, come on, give him a break. It's cool, man. Scott, you do it like this. Boop, 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 boop. Is that the right answer? No, man, Benjamin, you don't try and help with math. You're no good at it either. Then stop crying. Okay.
Anyone who can show that they were persecuted, actually, anybody who can show that they simply played D&D in high.
Oh, it goes from anyone can show they're persecuted. That's gonna be hard to do. Anyone can show that they played D&D. Oh, that'll be easy to establish. I can show that I played D&D. Oh yeah, how's that?
High school or in college, they don't need to show any signs of persecution.
You don't need to show any signs of persecution. Just establish that you played D&D in high school or college. Can I show that I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness? No. D&D.
Right. Or that they were in band.
Or that they were in band.
Or that they were in drama.
Or that they were in drama. That will clearly establish that they were persecuted.
High school or college. That's more, and if they were in any of those groups, they were absolutely persecuted.
Absolutely, they were persecuted. People that we know were most certainly in drama in high school, right? Brooke Shields. Right? Like, you know what I mean? George Clooney. So many beautiful people. Fuck you.
Period. At any of the years previously. The only question is what level, right? And the levels were from significant to major, right? Like there's no two ways about it. Okay. All right. So one, those are the groups. Is reparations due? Yes, 100%. Okay. How would those reparations be paid? Right? Who would pay them? All of the primary professional leagues in America for those three sports.
But how would that work? How would that work? Why am I even engaging with this seriously? Why am I even asking these fucking questions?
And baseball. Okay. The player groups, the owner groups, everyone affiliated with the top three professional leagues in each of those three sports would owe reparations to anyone who could prove, right, that they had played Dungeons and Dragons, were in band, were and in drama, and did not participate in any of those sports in high school or in college.
Oh, you got
so if you did both, if you High School Musical did, if you were Zac Efron in High School Musical, you're out. You don't get anything. There's no reparations for you.
Wait. If I'm Zac Efron, but what if Zac Efron didn't? Wait, what?
One foot in both worlds, right? You got to sing all the songs like Zac Efron, but you don't get cut in on the reparations.
Wait, why? So why does Zac Efron like what? But Zac Efron was in. If he was in, what if he didn't play sports? What if he was just in the musical? You said, is it because he's attractive? He doesn't. That doesn't work.
Paid. How much should be paid to these groups? $10,000. Period. End of sentence.
How do you establish that amount of money? Is it because the $10,000 is the amount of money that you can give the person under the current U.S. Tax code without having to declare it? It's a fucking ridiculous amount of money.
One-time payment, all is forgiven, right?
All is forgiven. You beat the shit out of me every day. Now I get $10,000 from the sports associations. So now we're cool. Random person, it's discharged. How does that work? Why am I engaging with this like it's a serious fucking proposition?
Making sure the payment is paid out, right? And basically, we would work with those leagues, right? With
who's we? Who's we? Are you?
So we would work with those or with the professional leagues assigned to each of those three American sports, and make sure that it didn't break the bank for them. And that means, but everybody would be paid within 5 years. Okay.
But everyone would be paid for five. With what the hell? Okay, whatever,
but
dude.
Just let it split up into 20% per year, and those people would be paid out at $10,000 per year. And they very well may need to get financing for this, right?
They would be paid what? 10,000? What?
And you're like, oh man, that's gonna be really expensive. Yeah, it's gonna be outrageously expensive, but it's not a problem because sports are making crazy bank right now, and they're gonna continue to make way more bank going forward. And the reason why is, if you're not aware, professional sports were doing great before, but now with professional with gambling connected to every single one of the, officially to every single one of those sports, there's no limit on how much they can earn. So they can certainly get
there. Absolutely is a limit how much they can earn. And what makes you think that those professional sports leagues who aren't supposed to get profits from gambling, as I understand it, would get money from gambling?
The funds from international lenders to be able to pay this out over 5 years. So should Dungeons and Dragons nerds be paid by American sports jocks?
No.
Yes.
No.
$10,000.
No.
Every single person who was reparations should absolutely be paid.
No, you haven't established your case. You're making ridiculous nonsense statements. You're an adult male. If I was your child, I'd be ridiculously embarrassed that my father was online saying these things. I'd rather be one of my kids whose father is online on YouTube saying things like, you know what I mean, am sexually attracted to Jonaside and Mario Heat and you know what I mean? The the press secretary because she's fucking nuts than be your fucking children whose father's on fucking YouTube saying shit like nerds get reparations for playing D&D from fucking people that played sports, because at least I don't sound like a fucking idiot. People could understand the fucking fact that my kids are old enough to know that a 55-year-old man with a, you know what I mean, born without a filter, would say things like, "I'm sexually attracted to crazy." First of all, they know their mom. "I'm sexually attracted to crazy people." That explains why I would want to bang Jonaside.
$10,000 to every single person who
I'm into Mario Heat just because he's a cuddler. I'm also into the press secretary because she's nuts.
who was in in Dungeons and Dragons band and drama. Wait, Scott, are you doing this so you will get 10 grand? No, I will exempt myself. And and the reason why is conflict of interest. The whole idea is mine. I think it's a very good idea, and I want to release myself from the. I don't want any. I just want this to happen. And
he's a man of principle. He's not gonna get involved. Doesn't want. Don't. He doesn't. He's not doing this to get his beak wet.
And justice be done. I don't want.
And justice be done. Let justice be done. First of all, what happened to the stopping the low millions of deaths of lonely American males by getting Orion Akaba back to the table?
I don't need that money, right? Like,
oh, you need that money.
The idea that other people really, and I do deserve it, right?
You do deserve it. You deserve $10,000 because all the shit you got in high school, right? You graduated high school. You graduated college. You got an online master's degree. You're driving around in a car. You got a wife, apparently, kids. But you deserve money. Not because you were hurt in an auto accident. Not because you were severely abused by people in high school. But just because you were given shit for being a nerd. Uh-huh. Why don't you monetize your YouTube channel? Do something.
But I don't want that to muddy the pool, right?
Don't worry.
Like this isn't me trying to get 10 grand. Yeah, I do fully qualify. But I would exempt myself because I'm the originator of the program.
The originator of the program. Okay, brother.
And I think if you're kind of trying to if you're leading a charge, right, you should be all in, right? And so this would not be for my personal gain. This would be for the people who genuinely deserve this, who didn't come up with the idea. Right?
115 views.
Be selfless in this, right? That's the point. I'm not able to be.
Let's look at the comments.
Right? So I should be exempted because I would not be able to be selfless in receiving this. So that's it. I think the answer is yes. I think every single American jocks owe American nerds, and this is how it should get paid out, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard, my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. You get in the comments.
High energy, J.Scott Garibay. Let's look at the comment section just briefly. Let's see what's going on in the comment section here. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Make no comment. I'm okay. Here we go. That's about as logical as me having played soccer in grammar school and then finding D&D as an adult and now having to give my party members $50 as restitution. You're a hinge, but I'm here for it. I love this interaction. Actually, I'm not here for your insults or your judgment. Check your tone. You're right. In my humble opinion, your argument is unhinged. Not you personally, but go off, Playboy. I'm here for the outlandish content. Yeah, seriously. Dungeon dudes are right down the hall on the left. Dungeon dudes. Go enjoy their totally hinged content. I'm sure that is your speed. I hope your weekend is terrible and next week is worse for you. You know what I mean? So then it goes on. J.Scott replies back. So no insults or judgment, but ill will is permitted. Thank you for that humbling clarification. I am forever indebted to you to your infinite unhinged wisdom. This weekend will probably suck, but I usually plan for the worst and hope for the best. You keep on keeping on, brother, and please drive safe while recording. Some of us thrive on this content. I love it. I love it. Anyway, J.Scott Garibay replies, literally insults and judgment. You brought them from the very gate. That is why I do have ill will for you. I hope misfortune and woe come your way so that you will be humbled in the future and will start conversations with even a modicum of respect. And then the guy goes, insert Kylo Ren more gif, right? That's the person replying to J.Scott Garibay. And then immediately, J.Scott Garibay, on that note, changes his tone entirely and says, now we're friends again. Have a great weekend. And I'm praying for you to encounter nothing but joy next week. Replies back to J.Scott Garibay. Ha ha ha. Solid Doc Holiday reference. Be well, brother. There you go. On a dime, J.Scott Garibay will just change. Here's a different reply to J.Scott Garibay. Dude, you got to stop with this reparation stuff. You're sounding really insane. No one is going to give D&D people reparations for liking the game, too. Show more replies. Absolutely we will. Here we go. J.Scott Garibay. Read Psalms. David spit straight fire on the reg. You know why that comes out of nowhere? Because I had a comment that he deleted. If you read this thread, you may notice forgiveness demonstrated by me in the model of Jesus. He certainly did it better. You sound lame. We all have issues. If that sounds disconnected, it's because J.Scott Garibay is editing his comment section and taking out comments by people. You see, there's a comment there that he's replying to that's been removed, and he's removed comments by me too as well. You fucker. God bless you, man. But you're removing videos. Anyway, we move on. Have a fetched millennium. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Anyway, that was last week. Let's move on to this week and see how he's doing this week. I'm going to start with my conjecture and tell you that I believe that coming back, we're going to see J.Scott Garibay. We're going to start with the second video that he uploaded today. Okay. The first one was just a 4-minute video that I don't think was recorded this day. The second video had to do with leading off from reparations. He's going to make a statement that I just want to get a little bit into. We're not going to do the whole video, but just have enough to be able to have me check him. Let's do this. American history. Let's let him roll. American History 2025, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan vampire film Sinners. Standing! Exclamation point. He's going to talk about standing, as in who has the right to talk for whom. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about. Remember, the content that I've been talking about in regards to J.Scott Garibay, this is where I'm going to say that he's going to start this day off as kind of commenting on my commentary on him. But we'll see if you pick up on the themes that I pick up on.
Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American history, and we're going to talk about Ryan Coogler's absolutely brilliant Sinners film. This is a historically important film, and
a historically important film. A historically important film. I would argue that to the degree that a film can be important historically, that would probably be figured out or determined over the course of time. I don't know if we could judge any film made in 2025 as historically important, but let's see what J.Scott Garibay has to say about this movie, Sinners.
I think that's my point.
A vampire movie.
As I think this is a major, major film that is going to go down in American history as a powerful narrative that changed the shape of American history and, by extension, American.
That this movie is going to go down as having changed the shape of American history. Guess wait till you hear why. It's incredible.
History never changes without the world's history changing.
American history never changes without the world history changing.
America is just the capstone. It's the foundation stone of every nation today. Like nothing.
America is the foundation stone, the capstone of every nation today. That I think may have once been the truth, and that is no longer the truth. I think that people may have elected who they elected as partially a reaction to that change in reality. Just like many people in America may have elected the person they elected to president of the United States because they can't deal with other changing aspects of American society. You know,
nothing happens in the world without America making a move. Nothing that happens in any other nation really matters.
Nothing that happens in any other nation really matters.
Half as much as minor things that happen.
Half as much as minor things that happen here.
That happen in America. It's just the shape of the world. But this is an extremely historically important film.
An extremely historically important film. A movie I haven't heard about. Have you?
It's a powerful narrative that's going to cut through a bunch of problems in our culture, and I think bring some very real solutions. So I want to.
It's a fucking vampire movie.
Talk about it. Okay, so I want to talk about Ryan Coogler's film Sinners from the perspective of American history, and explain why it is a historically important film. Okay, so thanks for.
Why it's a historically important film. Okay, why is it a historically important film? Ryan Coogler, by the way, is an African-American director. He directed Wakanda, which is I guess it's the highest grossing solo MCU movie, the third largest grossing MCU movie overall. Okay, that's what he's famous for. I think he's done other things. God bless him. God bless him. African-American director.
Your patience, let me set that up. Let's get into it. Okay. Oh, by the way, spoilers for Sinners here. Okay. So fascinating film. Michael B. Jordan. First of all, 5 out of 5 star film. Michael B. Jordan, bar none, his finest performance ever.
Whenever I hear the name Michael B. Jordan, all I can think of is who? Michael Jordan.
A shocking performance, and that seems like it's a small thing, like saying it's a shocking performance. But I actually remember I was with somebody I love very much, and I was sitting in Creed 3, right? And Michael B. Jordan's in that film. And people were talking. They were on their phones. And I was shocked. I was like, hey, man, what do you guys like?
Creed 3. When he said Creed 3, like they made that sequel to the Rocky movies, Creed, where he's like coaching Apollo Creed's son. You know what I mean? Because we're going to squeeze. Everything's got to be a sequel of a sequel of a sequel. They're up to Creed 3. Guess what? J.Scott Garibay is from a suburb of Philadelphia. Guess what? J.Scott Garibay was shocked that people were talking in the movie theater during Creed 3. Guess what? I'm not shocked that the audience in the suburbs of Philadelphia were talking during Creed 3. You know why?
Like, shut up. Right? It was like 2 rows behind us. And I remember.
You want to see my imitation of 80s stand-up comedian? What's his name? Barry Sobel. Stereotypes are never true.
People were loud and they were boisterous. And literally, as Creed 3 was dropping.
Were they also Chinese women drivers?
The Jonathan Majors story struck. And I was there hearing that story break in the theater, right? It was like, there are powerful moments in American history, right?
Like the powerful moments in American history, like when there was a plot moment in fucking Creed 3. I remember when Apollo Creed came out dancing like all fun and games, like making fun of the fucking Russian boxer, and then the Russian boxer fucking killed him.
and movies are part of that. They are very much a part of that.
And, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like the first talkie and shit.
And so, I didn't think that there'd be a more shocking event happen in a Michael B. Jordan film than what I witnessed. I remember this day, that. And
you remember this moment? What is he even talking? The John Majors? What the fuck is he talking about from Creed 3? Is there some major character or some major plot development in Creed? I don't know. You know what I mean? I saw Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know what I mean? I saw number 1, he lost to Apollo Creed. Number 2, he beats Apollo Creed. Rocky 3, he fights Mr. T. Rocky 4, he fights Russia on behalf of America. Right? That's it. Then Rocky 5, he's washed up and whatever. He gets into this street fight with the other white dude, right? That. I didn't see that shit. I don't remember that shit.
It's really something. But this is a huge film, and I want to talk about American history and why this is a historically important American film. Okay, so let's get into it. All right. So first of all, we're going to talk about African American history. We're going to talk about Caucasian history in America, and I need to, and I feel like you'll understand.
We're going to talk about African American history and Caucasian history in America. I'm going to have to speed up this video because that seems like it's going to take a long time.
By the time I'm done, why I'm going to do this, and I need to put my blood on the line as far as explaining who I am and where I am between those two worlds.
Okay, I'm going to get him right here. Look, I'm half Puerto Rican and half Ashkenazi Jew. Having said that, I have the complexion for the protection, right? I'm a Caucasian white dude. Okay? Nothing burns me up than when another white, I'm half Jew, that the racist white people don't consider that white. And I'm half Puerto Rican, though it doesn't look it. Okay? If the Nazis make trains tomorrow, guess who's got a ticket? My ass. Nothing makes me crazier than white dudes who are like, I'm a quarter Russian, I'm a quarter German, a quarter Dutch English, and whatever. You're fucking white, bro. If he's going to say something stupid now, I don't know what the fuck he's going to say, and he's going to say something he's not going to lead up, he's not going to follow up on it.
That's right. So I'm neither African American nor am I Caucasian.
I'm also 8%, according to 23andMe, I'm also 8% black. Hey, look at me now.
I am Basque and Matapanani. Okay.
Basque. That would be Spanish.
Okay. So I want to get that out because this entire.
And I think that other thing is like some sort of, if he's saying he's Native American or First Nations, you could show your tribe. If you're a member of a tribe, then you would be able to tell us, what tribe you're a member of, and you take us to your reservation, and they'd be able to attest to you. If you're not, shut the fuck up.
Entire video is about standing. We'll get there. All right, so let's go.
He's not going to get there.
But talk about this. All right, so this truly is an incredibly astounding occurrence. It's really amazing. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so I'm watching this movie, and everybody knew, right, like beforehand, that this movie was a vampire movie by Ryan Coogler. Right now, what's the big deal about that? Well, Ryan Coogler is huge in American cinema, and the reason why
he's not huge in American cinema
is he is an African American director, right?
There are tons of African American directors. This dude is about to tell us that being an African American director is somehow like a rare thing. That would be some shit to say in like 1900 what? African American directors in 2025 are not rare. To say that there are goes to show you how fucking out of touch and how fucking closeted J.Scott Garibay is. This dude is white.
And there aren't that many of them, right?
There are tons of African American directors. Are you fucking kidding me? This dude got bullied in high school. We know why. It's got nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. It has to do with this guy's fucking terminally fucking head broken.
And then because they're so rare,
they're so fucking rare
do is extremely important, right? So there is a powerful, successful African American.
Watch this.
Director. His name is Tyler Perry, right?
Tyler Perry, from fucking Medea, the Medea movies. J.Scott Garibay is aware of at least one powerful American director, African American director, Tyler Perry. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, Dude, what is the over under that J.Scott Garibay is gonna experience some sort of, you know what I mean, tragic life experience in fucking Philadelphia as a white dude who fucking, you know what I mean, whose conception of an African American director is Tyler Perry, right? This guy's on borrowed fucking time. He's gonna fucking talk out loud in the movie. He's got a movie pass. He always talks about it. He's gonna run into problems. I don't want that. I'm gonna pray for this young man. He's doomed. He's fucking doomed.
And he is written off even by African Americans.
Yeah, because he fucking sucks. He's a joke. Medea is like if RuPaul and Ernest had a baby.
Written off across the board. And even though he has made billions with it.
Billions. Tyler Perry has made billions? Okay, possibly. I don't know. He's been around for a while.
Films and has stood up incredible movies.
Incredible movies. J.Scott Garibay, you are a priceless gem amongst LOLCOWs. You are my personal discovery. I may have to take my coverage of you from this ghetto of Blueberry Wolfbridge No Intro RPG to my main channel, because you are undiscovered country. You absolute priceless gem of a Caucasian human being with glasses. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. May God protect you. God must love you. How the fuck did you stay alive?
Generally, he's laughed at.
Generally, he's laughed at. Yeah, he's a fucking comedian. Except that one time he tried to make that serious movie where he was like a fucking spy. You remember that shit? Like he was like Daniel Cross. Tyler Perry is Daniel Cross or some shit. People were like, "Are you kidding me? Get the fuck, put the makeup back on, Medea."
You know, both Caucasian and African American people, right? And that's really unfair. Right? That's really unfair. Like it shouldn't be that way, right? So
it shouldn't be that way. When is Don Knotts going to get his due? People don't understand the Ghost of Mr. Chicken.
Ryan Coogler comes along and he does $1 billion, right? $1 billion film, right? With what? Black Panther, right? He makes his bones, right? Like he's a made man at this point, right? He's in, right? Well, his rising Hollywood star gets turbo boosted, you know, gets a nitrous boost from what? Well, this is terrible, but Chadwick Boseman's death, right? There are times where deaths in America fuel bigger events, right? And so it just made Ryan Coogler even bigger than he already was, right? Huge success in Hollywood, right? So I go to this Ryan Coogler vampire movie, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know what this is going to be. I don't really understand why he's going down this road, right? But he has a story to tell in this movie, but he also has a powerful statement to make. Actually, he has.
You guys gotta see. We gotta fast forward because we gotta get to the point. You're gonna see. We're gonna get to the money shot, which is what J.Scott Garibay thinks is the most important aspect of this fucking movie, and it's ridiculous.
Multiple powerful statements to make, and this is layered and rich with message, right? Message from Ryan Coogler, right? So first of all, I'm like, okay, what is this? Is this just, you know, a box standard Blumhouse horror movie he's put on by a good black director? It's not that, right? Like, and I knew that when Michael B. Jordan, his character, he plays these twin brothers, the Smokestack brothers. And actually, so
Transformative War,
Omar Miller's character,
blah
and his
blah
character
blah.
is Cornbread, and he is a very large African American man, and he's like 6'6". He's huge, right? And so he goes and he drives up this whole film takes place in 1932, right, in Louisiana.
1932. 32 backwards is 23. Dun dun dun.
Near the bayou, okay, and so this is really fascinating, right? So so they drive up this, 1932, must have been a Ford, right, to go get.
Now remember, 1932. 1932. Okay.
Omar Miller's character, Cornbread, and they need him for security for their juke joint, right, which is like a blues hall, right? And they're going to open up a blues hall that night, right? And they need security, so they go to get this really large black man who would be scary to anybody who wants to make trouble, right? But it blew my mind. I could not believe Ryan Coogler did this. So
it blew his mind. He couldn't believe that Ryan Coogler did this.
Jordan drives his 1930s Ford, and like at this point, like cars are like 20 years old. It's wild, right? Drives this into a field, and earlier in the movie, when the Smokestack brothers were driving into a Louisiana city, a town, not a city, a town. Okay, there was a train station, so it was really kind of like a large town. Right? They get there and they drive in, and I'm like, is that sheep's wool? And they're just kind of driving through the streets, and I'm like, that looks like sheep's wool. Is that sheep's wool? I don't know what that is, right?
Is that sheep's wool? Is that sheep's wool? I don't know what that is. What the fuck, brother?
And so I see this thing, and I can't really tell what it is, right?
Guess what it is, and guess how it's going to blow J.Scott Garibay's gentle, fresh, white mind.
And then Smoke goes to get cornbread in the field, Omar Miller's character, and they drive into a field, and there is cornbread and his wife standing in a field, and there are these plants that are coming up a little above their waists, right? It's like 3-4 feet high.
Oh God!
Wait a second, what is that, right? And I realize cornbread and his wife, the characters in the movie, are picking cotton. They are in the South, in the sun, standing with sacks on their waists, and they are picking cotton. And I was like, what? I was astounded. And the reason why is
he was astounded that they were picking cotton.
Never in my life have I seen a movie that showed African-American people standing in the South, in the sun, picking cotton.
He's 55 years old, and never in his life has he seen a movie depicting African-American people standing in a field in the South, in the sun, picking cotton. Think of all the movies that he hasn't seen.
And the reason why is you can't do that in a movie today. You cannot do that. I was born in...
You can't do that in a movie? Mm-hmm.
I'm 55 years old. I was born in 1970. I started watching movies.
Yeah, we can do the math.
When I was 5, okay? And for the life of me, I cannot remember ever seeing that in any movie ever. And the reason why is...
And the reason why, now remember, we're going to go back. Hold on.
It's just timing in America, okay? America had African-Americans that we were forcing to pick cotton in our fields in the year starting in 1775. That only goes...
No, we didn't have them starting in 1775. We did not start slavery at the exact birth of our country, you fucking idiot. Slavery in the colonies existed, okay?
Goes for 90 years. It stops in 1865, right? Where they're being forced to, right? And that was 90 years of HE double hockey sticks here in America, right? And to this, we fought a war over it. Like, we fought a war over it. 700,000 Americans died over it. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, we understand what you're saying.
So, like, this is, like, that image is burned into the retinas of every African-American and every Caucasian American as good.
It really isn't? Well, you should have seen, what was that lady who was asked about the cause of the Civil War when she was running for the nomination of the President of the United States? What was her, Haley? And she was like, well, there were complex reasons. And they were like, well, actually, the answer I was looking for was slavery.
Good and bad and wrong and right. And the people who disagreed on those values literally murdered each other over it. I mean, it's the only American Civil War we've ever had. Now, I want to be super clear. It was completely wrong. There was no right to it. There was no good to it. It was all evil and it was all wrong. Okay?
No, I get
but there
that.
were Americans who thought it was good and right. And to get that set correctly to the right value, the right answer, it took 750,000 American lives. Right? Like, so when I saw Ryan Coogler showing this in the film, I knew this was a historically important film. And
you knew it was a historically important film when you saw African-American people standing in a field in the sun in the South picking cotton. So I'm just going to stop right there because, as you no doubtedly understand, he's already got me. And Mario's already there. Mario's already there. Mario's already there. Or, 12 Years a Slave that came out in 2013, or Django Unchained. Or if we want to go further back in time, there's Roots, or there's, Glory. I did one of these. I did movies. Hold on. Movies about American slave experience. Several movies explore the American slave experience, including 12 Years a Slave, Glory, Harriet, and Roots. These films offer different perspectives on slavery, from personal narratives of enslaved individuals to larger historical context. Here's a more detailed look at some notable films. 12 Years a Slave, 2013. Glory, 1989. Harriet, 2019. Roots, 1977. Django Unchained, 2012. Birth of a Nation, 1915. Uncle Tom's Cabin. Gone with the Wind, 1939. Free State of Jones, 2016. There's also Beloved from 1998. Don't forget Lincoln. Alex Haley's Queen. Freedom. There's a bunch. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn from 1939. Amazing Grace from 2006. Amistad from 1997. Antebellum from 2020. We have Band of Angels from 1957. There's Beloved from 1998. There's that it's a whole bunch of these things, you know what I mean? Like, need we go on? No, we don't. No, we don't. There was plenty of them. Frederick Douglass and the White Negro from 1998. Plenty of them. There we go. The point is this: Jefferson in Paris. Lincoln in 2012. I think we already mentioned that. A ton. A ton. Yep. Sorry, dude. But you never saw it. He never saw it because he is a sheltered man. Now we're going to move on. So that was from today. We're going to move on so we don't go on too long. We're going to cut right to the point of the matter of this. We're going to get to a video where I think as far as the concept of standing goes, I think that might have been his attempt to kind of talk about, I'm not a, racist dude. I'm actually part Basque, and I care about African American people. And if you thought my coverage of what was it, Warfare, that movie was insensitive, that's not true. Because check out my amazing take on saying this movie about slavery was historical and changed the day. Can I win as J.Scott Garibay? Now we're going to get to a movie where, remember I said that his take on Professor DM being the world's biggest quasi-fash, anti-feminist, white man's burden jackass was unfounded and jerky. He's now going to make a video called Professor Dungeon Master Was Right. And I think that this is a direct response to my coverage. I think I might be wrong, but it's definitely a total 100% Spurg out. In my estimation, you may think differently. Hey, it is what it is. Again, fair use, fair use, fair use. We're just watching together what's happening on YouTube. So let's watch together and enjoy the ever-evolving work and journey of the most fascinating, gold standard in D&D YouTube coverage. The one, the only. I love him. I think this video is him directly commenting on me. You make your own judgments. I'm gonna comment, and am I on my own, high on my own supply? You tell me. We're gonna watch together a video entitled, a video that I think is a little bit unhinged, called Professor Dungeon Master is Right About Dragon Week. Staging content has become very difficult. Oh, brothers and sisters, you're right. Let's experience this one together. I'm going to play it at normal speed. Yeah, let's enjoy this one together.
And today we're going to talk about Professor Dungeon Master being right. Now, I have a pattern of having videos that say, hey, Professor Dungeon Master is wrong. Now, what I also have a pattern of is Professor Dungeon Master does a video, and then I do a video about his video, me discussing it. And the reason why is I cannot quit his content.
Is he talking about himself, or is he subtly talking about people watching him? I don't know.
Extremely, his channel is better than mine, period. End of sentence.
His channel is better than his. Is he talking about Professor DM, or is it a secret message to those individuals who are watching him, aka me?
That's not a debate. Like, his channel is just better than mine, right? And that's why he's got 100. Actually, that's a good question. Why does he have 100K? There might be a different reason there.
You previously said that he had 100K videos because he was engaged in clickbait, while you had less video views than him because you were keeping it pure. So is it that you've changed your mind about that? You've forgotten what you previously said? Or is it that you're secretly talking about why you have 3,000 X number of subscribers while I have less than 1,000 subscribers because I suck and you are so good and I can't stop watching you because I'm so fascinated by your comments and your content?
Actually, you don't need to look at sub count to tell better. His content is simply better crafted than mine from a lot of perspectives. So that's not a debate. Professor Dungeon Master has a better channel than me, and I'm like drawn to his content like a B2 pollen, right? Like it's very compelling, right?
If you're talking about, I agree. I mean, I watch Professor DM. I don't think it's compelling. He puts me to sleep. I watch his videos because of what he talks about sometimes, but I find you compelling.
And what's really interesting is he is wrong almost all the time, right?
Like you're wrong all the time. You're just totally wrong all the time. That's why I watch you. I watch you because you're wrong. If you were just a guy like, I don't know, the Dungeon Dudes or Professor DM who was just like saying correct things correctly, it would be like watching an accountant do math. Why would I watch that? Whereas watching you be wrong is absolutely fucking fascinating. That's why I watch you.
Right? And what's really fascinating to me is like, I can go watch Professor Dungeon Master give his opinion on 90% of his opinions on tabletop role-playing games are shockingly wrong, right? But I feel a lot better watching him be completely wrong about a tabletop role-playing game topic than going and watching Dungeon Dudes and every single thing they said is correct.
But you don't think the Dungeons are correct, or maybe you do. I don't know.
Why? Well, basically, the Dungeon Dudes are skiing the bunny slopes, and Professor Dungeon Master is skiing the black diamonds. Like his.
Now, bear in mind, he must be talking about me and him because I got to tell you something. If anyone watches mainstream TTRPG content like the Dungeon Dudes and Professor DM, the difference in the content between Dungeon Dudes and Professor DM, that's like saying, like, man, why are you listening to that mainstream, Sticks bullshit? When are you going to get off that Sticks commercial bullshit and listen to some real rock and roll like Kansas?
His stuff is hard. He talks about the most difficult things in tabletop role-playing games.
That's what?
And specifically on Dungeons and Dragons, right? But what I want to talk about today is his recent Dragon Week video, which I found fascinating. So he's like, so there. This is Dragon Week. What the heck is that?
What's Dragon Week? Is some sort of KKK thing?
I don't know. Like, and it's in.
Is it like a sex thing? It's probably a sex thing. Knowing Professor DM is probably like some sort of sex thing. It's probably a sex thing. Dragon Week? It's probably some sort of sex thing.
Interesting. Like, I think some other content creators that talk about Dungeons and Dragons struggle to figure out what they're going to cover.
Yeah, like they probably like those like losers who like all they can do is like watch J.Scott Garibay videos and talk over them because they got nothing to say themselves. You know, like me. My secret shame.
I do not have this problem. I have a list of easily 1,000 ideas. I can't.
It's funny because for a guy with 1,000 video ideas to talk about, you seem to talk about one thing over and over again. Orion Akaba.
Can't even cover 10% of the ideas I have on Dungeons.
A power tip might be don't talk so much about Orion Akaba, then you might get some of that list off your chest, and we would have more things to talk about. Just saying.
Right. It's not even close to 10%, right? Like the vast majority of my ideas for videos are never shot, right? Like,
don't talk about Orion Akaba so much, and we would get there. But hey, just a suggestion.
It's So like the idea that somebody needs to give me a prompt to do a D&D, like, so ridiculous.
Where did that come from? Whoever thought that they needed to give you a prompt?
Right, so I don't really know that much about what Dragon Week is, but like Professor Dungeon Master is talking about it, but not really. We'll get there, right? And
here's where we're gonna start to see J.Scott Garibay kind of get tweaky.
Ginny D is talking about it. That one makes sense. Like I don't think she actually likes Dungeons and Dragons that much. I think Ginny D really, really, actually, it was really wild. She did a whole video where she got invited to Dungeon Master at a castle, right, in Europe, right? That produced a panic attack, right?
Yeah, wouldn't you? She had just started really, really, really DMing. She was a player. Her channel started to take off, so she got this invitation to like DM in a castle. She got there and realized what a big deal it was, how much money people had actually paid to go and have her be the DM. And she had a panic attack because she had kind of like an imposter syndrome moment, right? It's not that she had never DM'd before. It's, she just, like playing your first big, huge gig. As a person who has anxiety myself, as a person who has complex PTSD, anxiety attacks happen. I don't like Ginny D's content. I think she's one of these people. She's a Dungeons and Dragons gal, 10, right? If she was still at the library or at the bookstore, right? I could bang her.
Can you imagine?
Fucking no, I couldn't. You know what I mean? Like fucking idiot.
That you're so bad at dungeon mastering, being asked to dungeon master in a castle would produce a panic attack in you, but people's desire to have you.
Because she's a human being, asshole. Why are you being so insensitive to her when you clearly are about to fucking spurg out? Not because you're having a panic attack, but just because you're on some sort of fucking cycle of whatever, dude.
Be their dungeon master with that low level of confidence is so high that people will literally pay housing tickets and transportation tickets to be there. That's like that. And this is my entire point.
What's your entire point? Bear in mind that we all heard your story that you told yourself of being so desperate as an adult dude to join a fucking 4E group that you bought books and then scuffed them up to like cover the lie that you had like not just bought those books used, right? I'm not making fun of you. I'm just pointing out, like, you're a human being. You did something. She was a human being. She had a panic attack. And by the way, she got over the panic attack. And if you watch the video, she got over the panic attack. I'm not a Ginny D simp. I don't like her content, but it's just whatever. I'm a simp for other human beings who have panic attacks and then get shit on by fucking people who fucking should be absolutely sensitive to people with other neurodivergent needs, because you're clearly neurodivergent. But then again, you're fucking autistic out the fucking wazoo, I think. So it makes sense that you don't fucking get it. But whatever, bro. We'll all go call the nurse.
We are in upside down land. There is just like Ginny B is so bad at dungeon mastering.
She's not so bad at dungeon mastering. She had a panic attack because, dude, if you ever got the chance, I've never played Wembley Stadium. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm fairly confident in how I play experimental ambient music by myself. If you all of a sudden put me on fucking stage in front of people, right? I've never met Jeannie D either. You know what I mean? I'm always like, she ain't that hot. If I met her fucking like in person, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give people a break, dude. Be fucking human, especially for a fucking Christian, man. You're a fucking real asshole to people, man. You're a real shitbag. Being mean to you. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. You know what I mean? You're going through some shit.
Right? That she had a panic attack when they were like, hey, would you like your dreams to come true? She's like, any other dungeon master would be like, yeah, I'd love to have my dreams come true. Be flown for free to a castle to run Dungeons and Dragons for people who love me. And she's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, like
she didn't have a panic attack because she didn't know. She had a panic attack when she got there and realized that, you know what I mean, she had prepped and all this stuff, but you know what I mean? She's about to go on stage or whatever, and she fucking, she had imposter syndrome hit. Whatever, dude. Give her a break.
It's like, what world are we living in, right? Like, this is so like, and people listen to her on how to dungeon master. Like,
yeah, first of all, that story is like a couple of years old, and they listened to her about how to dungeon master because she survived that experience, got through it, told the story about it, and now talks about other things. And people listen to her talk about dungeon mastering because, like I said, she's like a Las Vegas strip club, 7, but she's a Dungeons and Dragons 12 because this is a land of fucking pent up thirst trap nerds who don't know how to talk to girls. And she's married. That sucks for everybody, but she's an actual fucking female with a pulse. Why do you think people buy? Oh, why is Shadow Dark such a success? Because Kelsey Dion is an actual fucking, even though she's a lesbian, has a fucking vagina. That's it. Fucking anyone who doesn't fucking connect the dots on that one is a fucking moron. Is a fucking moron. If you have, even if you look like fucking, you know what I mean, Tankard the Strange, if you are a female and you have a YouTube channel that's gamer centric, either video games or TTRPGs or Magic the Gathering or whatever, every dude knows it. Every dude resents it, but it's the fucking truth. You will perform 25 times better than any guy. Why? Because you're fucking female. And dudes, nerds are fucking thirsty as fucking fuck. Why? Like, duh!
Okay, like we are in an absolute upside down land. It is just so bonkers what's happening. It's bananas. It is apples and bananas.
It's apples and bananas. What?
And
it's donuts and hot dogs.
This is why we're talking about Professor Dungeon Master today, and I appreciate your patience. It took a long time to get here. All right.
Not as long as it takes me to get through one of your videos, bro.
So Professor Dungeon Master's like, I want to talk about Dragon Week. And I'm like, oh, Dragon Week. Right. And I don't want to hear about Dragon Week, like a new dragon type. Dude, there's like 15 dragons in the Dungeon Master Guide. Nobody needs a new dragon type. We just got the gem dragons like a year or two ago. Like, nobody needs a...
What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You said Professor Dungeon Master is right about Dragon Week, and what the fuck? You're like, you're gabbing more than I do, man. Come get to the fucking point, bro.
New dragon type, right? Like, and it's so, what is Professor Dungeon Master? And I'm like, I know his, terrible, terrible topic. I have no interest in this, but it's Professor Dungeon Master. I click play, like done.
That's what makes me think that you're talking secretly about me and you, because you're just basically talking about people that watch someone that they just are compelled to watch. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just fucking off on a tangent. This is one of those things where I'm like, I've got this nailed. He's talking about me. And then I watch, I'm like, I don't know if this makes sense.
Right. because I'd rather listen to Professor Dungeon Master be 100% wrong than I would ever want to watch the Dungeon Dudes be 100% right. All right,
I
like
don't blame you, man. Those guys are like fucking like watching fucking paint dry first, man. Those are fucking two Canadian losers. The guy, I can't get over it. The guy is a fucking god damn it. It's like watching, like that the cool guy at the Bolorama. Oh,
that's fascinating. That is fascinating. That is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. All right, so let's get there. Let's get all the way there. Okay. All right. So Professor Dungeon Master it goes, hey, here's a brand new dragon to run for Dragon Week, right? And he's like, I'm doing what Jenny D's doing. I needed a prompt to make a Dungeons and Dragons video. But he don't need a prompt to make a Dungeons and Dragons video. Man, that dude is playing 3D chess, all right?
Shit! Fucking A, what the hell's going on?
Like, I'm over here playing checkers. Professor Dungeon Master playing 3D chess.
I'm here masturbating these fucking Genie D videos and going, I just want to fucking die. If it wasn't for the fact that I got kids who need, or my fucking dependents, and the fucking ex-wife is going to fucking walk in and catch me and be like, why are you doing this, man? You could, you know what I mean? Just, the hell's going on?
That's right. Like, his channel is legit, just much better.
It's fucking terrible. His fucking channel sucks.
Mad respect. Like, and
I have no respect for that guy, and he's from Jersey, man. I just want to fucking drive over my car. I just want to hunt him down, kidnap him, and be like, this everything that's going on with me and J.Scott Garibay is all your fucking fault, and that's why I'm gonna live stream your fucking your one-on-one encounter with the Dungeon Dudes.
And you're like, wait, didn't you just say he did this horrible thing in the last video?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did say that he did that terrible thing in that last video. So what's going on now, bro?
And I think it was every bit of that stands, and I cannot quit his content. I'm telling you, like, it is.
Oh, see, that's what makes me think that he's talking about me and him, or maybe I'm just fucking through the bell jar on this one.
It is an oxymoron. It is a paradox, not an oxymoron.
It's neither.
It's a paradox, right? Yeah, it's wild, right? Like, this. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. All right. So I'm like, what is this? And he's like, Crown and Skull, Volume 2. Now, first of all, I love Crown and Skull. Crown and Skull is an absolute
Hadrian 72
game from Runehammer Games.
For a guy who's so touchy about people diagnosing him, he's awful fucking dismissive of Genie D's anxiety. Yes, this is true. This is true. Welcome to the proceedings. Hadrian 72.
Now that is created by Brandish Gilhelm, and this was Professor Dungeon Master reviewing Crown and Skull from Runehammer Games. So this is Professor Dungeon Master reviewing Brandish Gilhelm's game. Okay,
is he driving through, like, man?
He's publishing it, so I don't care who the designer is, right? Like, this thing wouldn't exist if Brandish Gilhelm hadn't brought it to the world, right? Yeah, so I give credit for Crown and Skull to Brandish Gilhelm because he's the publisher, and I don't, and the Crown and Skull designer is very good, very smart. In fact, get this, you know what? Let's keep it focused. I'm gonna keep it tight on this one. Okay.
Too late for that.
So here's the thing. So he comes in, and by the way, I love Crown and Skull, and you're like, oh, do you, Scott? Yeah. You can find an entire campaign run, right? I have done a recap of an entire campaign I ran with Crown and Skull. Just Google, Scott Garibay and Crown and Skull. You'll see the entire playlist, and I ran an entire campaign with it. It was banger. I absolutely loved it, right? And so it's really good. And I also did shorts on it. I did long form content and short.
If you look, you can see through this window what this person is watching on their TV, I think. I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm losing my mind.
I love Crown and Skull, right? So this is...
even though on several occasions you've told people... this is what I love about J.Scott Garibay. On several occasions, you can literally see him go, you shouldn't play anything except Dungeons and Dragons. And then he'll be like, now I'm playing Marvel role-playing game. Now I'm playing Crown and Skull.
Professor Dungeon Master reviewing Crown and Skull. So wait, if Professor Dungeon Master is reviewing Crown and Skull Volume 2, why did he say, hey, here's a new dragon for your Dungeons and Dragons game, for your Dungeons and Dragons game, and to celebrate Dragon Week? Because no one would click on a review of Crown and Skull from Professor Dungeon Master. That's the wild part, right? So I complained in my last video that he was clickbaiting people with his titles. This is
Yes, you did.
And so this is not clickbait. This is obfuscation.
Why is your video entitled Professor Dungeon Master is right about Dragon Week?
Like, I feel so bad for Professor Dungeon Master. He has to trick people to get them to watch his content. He does not want to talk. And this is why I have 3,000 subscribers, right? And he has 100,000, right? I talk about what I'm genuinely excited about. And I tell you what I'm excited about in the title, right? And you see.
No, you don't. You lie. You said Professor Dungeon Master is right about Dragon Week. Staging contest becomes very difficult, but he didn't. What?
My smiling face, because I'm excited about it, right?
Well, first of all, let's be completely honest. J.Scott Garibay, he uploads all these videos. He uploads about 5 or 6 videos a day. He uploads about an hour's worth of content a day, broken up into about 5 or 6 different videos. The videos are not recorded all on the same day. You can see there's different shirts, there's different times of the day. So there's not. It depends. Like it's like he records all these different videos on his phone, and then depending on, I guess, what his mood is on that day, he kind of uploads over. He has a schedule kind of between the hours of like 10 a.m. and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Within that time window, he basically will upload one video either an hour each hour or an hour and a half, or every 30 minutes, depending. And there'll be sometimes kind of like a loose structure to it, or sometimes there won't be. Sometimes they're all from the same day. Most of the times there could be completely random. I don't know what I'm getting to the point where I'm noticing that I'm getting this amount of fucking knowledge about it. That's fucking scary, right? I forgot where I was going with that. I forgot where I was going with that. Wait, let me rewind to try and get where I was going. Hold on.
He does not want to talk, and this is why I have 3,000 subscribers, right? And he has 100,000, right? I talk about what I'm genuinely excited about, and I tell you what I'm excited about in the title, right? And you see my smiling face because
the smiling faces. So he's got about a. You'll notice that the thumbnails are repetitive. He doesn't have new thumbnails for his videos. The people are like, oh, if you see his thumbnails, they're like trollish. They're all his smiling face. You see him smile. It's because they're all his like vacation photos, or like photos of him with his bike, or the same photo of a car that he saw at a car festival or something. He's got about like maybe 25, 30, 35 different photos that he uses. So they're all just like cycled through.
Because I'm excited about it, right?
So it's not like those photos are like him the day of, or like it's him making that photo of his smiling face because he's excited about the content of that video. There's no connection between the thumbnail image and the content at all.
He has to trick people to get them to watch what he wants to create.
No.
Right? Because if he put on here, hey, here's my review of Crown and Skull 2, he knows no one would watch the video. No one. Right? And the reason why is if you ain't Dungeons and Dragons, nobody cares. Literally nobody. And if you ain't Dungeons and Dragons or Shadow Dark, Nobody gives two rats right now. You cannot, these numbers are in the absolute tanker toilet, right? And he knows he cannot tell people what he is excited about and what he actually wants to cover because no one, and he cannot put an honest thumbnail up because literally no one.
I forget what month it is. I think it's June. He does a thing where he goes an entire month. Professor DM does where he won't talk about Dungeons and Dragons. He just goes for indie RPGs, DCC, Crown and Skull, his own Skull Crusher, whatever thing is. Like he does. He's not interested. He's adverse to covering a lot of stuff concentrating on D&D. And he's always talking about people are like, you always do these clickbaity videos. He's like, actually, if you look at all my content, I only do these videos, but these are the videos that you click on. So that's the videos that get recommended to you. If you actually subscribe to my channel and put the bell notification on and get all my videos, you'll see I do all these other videos too.
Would click on the videos he's making. So so there's no clickbait on this. It's just obfuscation. Not even a lie, just obfuscation, right? He has to hide his content from his own viewers. That's where we've arrived.
That's not obfuscation. If the content is the content, then I don't know what you're talking about. Unless it said this is a Dungeons and Dragons video, then you click on it and it's not Dungeons and Dragons video. It's actually a Crown and Skull video. That wouldn't be obfuscation. That would be a lie. If it just says Dragon Week and you're implying that because it says Dragon Week, then that means it's Dungeons and Dragons and people were found themselves watching a Crown and Skull. That's your assumption that if it says dragon, that means Dungeons and Dragons. That's you, but that's the power of your mind that thinks that everything cycles back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Right? That's astonishing. That is incredible. We truly live in an upside down world. And I am fascinated by that. I'm absolutely fascinated by that. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion.
Oh, thank God.
The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. Get in the comments, and send your traffic. Please consider like subscribing and have a fetch millennium.
Let's look at the comments, see if there's comments on this video, see what he's saying, if there's anything. He's not wrong. If you want to talk about any other TTRPGs that's not D&D, Pathfinder, or Shatterdark, you got to tie your TTRPGs to one of the big three. Okay, there you go. I want to actually go. Let me see. I want to actually see the Professor DM video. Professor Dungeon Master, and see if this thing is new dragons to unleash upon your players. Oh, hey, look at this. Here you go. Let me show you something. Here we go. Look at this. Let me show this. Look at here. This is the video that he's talking about. New dragons to unleash upon your players. Dragon Week. New dragons. There you go. New dragons. What's this obfuscation? Professor DM takes a look at a new book of dragons for the Crown and Skull system, but the information is fairly system agnostic. And then he shows the things. So what is that? There's no obfuscation at all. So it basically is, what do we have? We have J.Scott Garibay lying as he usually does. Folks, it's another hour and 38 minutes that I could have spent doing other things, but I spent talking about J.Scott Garibay. Hadrian72, thank you for joining the live chat. Everyone else, thank you for being here. Everyone else who watches this video eventually, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And our tarot card for the day for J.Scott Garibay to say, hey, folks, it's getting tired. It's getting close to 1 o'clock in the morning over here. I said I wasn't going to go late, but I keep on getting pulled in. And of course, it was that thing. I was like, he's totally. It's going to be so obvious to everyone that he's talking about me. It's so obvious that that he's spurting out and he's totally out of control. And then I watched it the second time around with everybody, and I'm like, it doesn't seem like that at all. Not clearly not as much as I thought it was the first time round. That's a RMFN. Thank you. No, thank you. Knight of Wands, Heir of Fire. A lot of masculine energy here. On a quest. You see us going off into the desert. Much like J.Scott Garibay behind the wheel of that car. Searching, trying to make it happen, moving to make it happen. From that knight, that air energy, we have the intellect, the wands, fire, that cosmic, masculine, burning energy moving across the plains. That air can feed those flames, but we don't want to burn out. We want to keep on moving. We want to stay positive. We're on a quest. We see those pyramids. We're off on an adventure. We're off on a quest. But we have to be cautious. We don't want to burn out. We have to mind ourselves. We have to mind our resources. We have to mind our inner energy and fuel. Or we will blow away. Stay focused. Know where we intend to go, what our ideas about where we want to go are, but be open and be prepared. Watch the ground before us and don't get lost in that vast desert. Our passions will fuel us and move us forward, but we must be mindful that we don't go all the way out there with no direction home. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody is me. Make of that what you will. J.Scott Garibay, if you're out there, thank you. You do make compelling content. I'm watching. Other people are watching too. Don't forget to listen to the suggestion cards that are being left on the theater floor for free. With love, for you, from me. Till later.